Didn't even realize I was muted there for a second. So I guess we could restart that. Welcome to Zain Zinger Part 2. Didn't even realize my mic was muted. I was almost positive it wasn't. Nonetheless, hope you guys can hear me okay. Let's kind of restart that. So I just got home late last night from Champaign, watched Illinois knock off USC 34-32 was the final score there in a huge upset win. Illinois a 6.5 point underdog going into that game. And a huge bounce back win. Huge win. As you all know, last week Illinois 63-10 defeat at the hands of Indiana, which they barely squeaked by Iowa. That's a different story that we'll talk about later on. But Illinois was able to bounce back 34-32, game-winning field goal by David Alano as time expired to win the game. It was just a great game. It was a really good game. Illinois had two separate 14-point leads at one point. Um, it was 31-17. Looked like the game was over midway through the third quarter. And then USC drove down the field a couple of times and scored. Um, let's see. Makai Lemon just had a phenomenal game for USC. Their star receiver had a really nice day getting into the end zone a couple times. And overall, I thought Illinois played really well. Overall, they played inspired football, and I just thought overall they looked the part. They looked like a team that they were supposed to look like. You know, you know, going into the year, like the team that people expected it to be. So let's get into these post game numbers here because they're really interesting and they kind of dissect the game itself. We can also get into what Brett Bielema spoke about a little bit too. We may even play some stuff from his post game presser, which I was in attendance for yesterday. It was, I'd say, pretty solid. So let's go over this recap here if we can. Okay, so just the scoring summary was a 7-7 game after one quarter. Then USC added a field goal in the second to make it 10-7 um, at the time, and then Illinois responded with a touchdown of its own, and it was a 14-10 game at half. And then in the third quarter, things started to pick up a little bit. Illinois outscored USC in the third quarter 10-7 before USC did all it could by outscoring Illinois 15-10 in the fourth, which led to the game-winning field goal for David Alano from 41 yards out. Um, let's talk about this recap here. So Luke Altmaier still without an interception. It's unbelievable to say that for 5 games. I can't believe it considering he nearly had three. He nearly threw three a week ago. So huge shocker there. First player in the Big Ten since 2011, Vincent Smith from Michigan. This according to Illinois stats and notes to throw for a touchdown, run for a touchdown, and catch for a touchdown in the same game. Very impressive stuff from Altmaier there in a do it all spot. Um, 328 passing yards, 20 for 26. Um, and of course, Hank Beatty had to throw it to Luke Altmaier because, of course, that's how it always goes. Caden Fagan, 127 all purpose yards. Huge day for him. Lost a fumble in the end zone, but on the replay, looked like it should have been a touchdown. So, unfortunate situation there. Did admit after the game that he needs to be better holding on to the ball. So at least he knows that for the future. What else is there from this? Dylan Rosiak, first career interception. We asked him about that. It was a very nice job by him to get on the ball and get that interception at a critical point in the game. Let's see. Well, what else do we have? Um, yeah. So Makai Lemon did it all, and again they took the lead with 2 touchdowns and a 2 point conversion. That's why Illinois was down 32-31 with only a couple minutes to go. So there was that. All right, let's take a look at some post-game notes here. Illinois is 5-3 against AP top 25 opponents over the last 2 seasons. I was at most of them. I can name a few of them even. Michigan last year, that was a big win at home. South Carolina in the bowl game, if you're including that one. What other ones were there against ranked opponents where they won? Um, I'm now drawing a blank. I'd have to go back and look, but those are two off the top of my head. 5-3 over the last 2 seasons. '08 Rose Bowl through the 2023 season. Illinois just went 3-40 against AP top 25 teams, and one of those games was Brett Bielema's first signature win, the 9 overtime marathon in State College in 2021 to spoil Penn State's homecoming. That's another story, though. Illinois' 5-3 record against ranked teams over its last 8 games is tied for the program's best 8-game run since 1951 to 53. You have to remember in those years Illinois was really good, so that's not a surprise. The Illini won a ranked versus ranked game for the first time since last year. Illinois versus Michigan, as I just alluded to. Bielema is 7-8 against ranked teams as Illinois head coach. What else is there? 60,670 was the total attendance. First ever Big Ten game in the newly named Geese Memorial Stadium. Again, as I alluded to on the show, Barstool was there. Big Noon Kickoff was there. That was a crazy scene as well. There were a lot of people there for that. Unfortunately, didn't get to meet any of the particulars on Barstool, but did get a chance to meet Brady Quinn and Rob Stone the day before, and they were both awesome. What else is there with that? Let's see. The Trojans were held to their fewest opening half points of the year so far, which is 10. They had been an offensive scoring machine at will. They were averaging 52.5 points a game going into the game yesterday. What else was there? Fourth sellout in the Brett Bielema era. I think I've been to pretty much. I've been to. I think it's now my second one out of the 4 that I've been to. I don't think I've been to all 4 because I wasn't at Western. I wasn't. Oh no! I've been to 3 now. Been to 3 now. Michigan was sold out last year. Western Illinois, which I was at first game of the season this year, and then now this one. So I've been to 3 out of the 4. The other one that I didn't go to was Western what is it? The one I didn't go to last year was Kansas. Last year, Kansas was sold out. Let's see here. Hank Beatty did really well. 6 catches, 81 yards. Of course, get a passing touchdown. Their first career passing touchdown. Justin Bowick had a touchdown on his lone reception of the day. His 4th receiving touchdown of the year. He's been a really nice pickup in the receiving corps. Leon Lowry had another productive day. He had a sack last week against Indiana, but he tallied 2 solo tackles, a forced fumble, and a quarterback hurry. Miles Scott had 10 tackles, and of course David Alano 2 for 2, including the game-winning field goal. All right, let's take a look at coach quotes. All right, let's take a look at Brett. So we could pull some of this if we want. Let's hear some of Coach while we're sitting here because why not? So let's hear what Coach had to say. You can't see me in this. It's just Coach, unfortunately, so you can't see my reactions to anything he said. But overall, though, I thought it was solid and he did a good job. All right, here we go. It's only 10 minutes long. We'll listen to a brief portion of it. There's a spot in here I'd like to play. So that's what we're going to do. All right, here we go. Okay. Studio. All right, here we go. All right, here's screen share. There we go. Here's Coach.
We thought we could probably winning by a couple scores, but we thought we'd just keep it close. Want to get it down to the end there for everybody. My dad got in for his first game today. I want to make him get enjoyable. 4-quarter game. My wife does not like those games, but a true test. First off, give credit to USC, a really good football team. Knew that we were going to have a tremendous challenge today, but I thought our guys, since last Saturday to where we are today, have just responded internally, externally. Showed me a lot about who they were. The part that really gave me satisfaction during the course of this week is I know my roster better than anybody in this country, right? Like, I know who they are, I know what they represent, I knew how they would respond. I saw them during the course of the week. I saw them hurt. I felt myself hurting, but I knew we could respond and do well, and I thought we'd play pretty well today. I thought we really did a good job of handling some things that happened during the game with some adversity, and really excited about that. Don't know really much about some of the injuries. I know Matt Bailey sustained a shoulder, but I think he'll be back with us sooner than later. It's good to get a lot of guys out there. I thought Juice came in and did some really nice things today. JoJo Hayden, Sabor, got 3 guys there that really haven't played a lot of football. I think Miles had 10 tackles. I think Sabor had 7, and I think JoJo maybe had 7. So really excited for those guys to come in. But our offense, I can't say enough for Barry Lundy, our offensive coaches, Bart Miller and the offensive line to kind of respond and do what they did to put up the numbers rushing, and then obviously the adversity that Caden and Khalil faced. I grabbed Caden at halftime. I said, hey, man, behind us, what's behind us is behind us. We got to go forward, and then to see him rip off that screen pass and run away from some of those defenders, all 255 pounds of love from a la high school, is just absolutely awesome to watch that unfold. So super excited about that. With that, I guess we'll open up for questions. Nobody can buy yesterday or look ahead to tomorrow, no matter how much money you have, and you can't buy a reputation, right? And all of us have a reputation. Dave, if we come on this campus, we're together, but all of us have a reputation we're going to carry beyond we're here. And you want to have a great reputation about how you fight, and that was a good answer today.
So yeah, that's basically the part I wanted to play. Is he had referenced this in his immediate after post game interview with Jenny Taft of Fox Sports, where he basically just talked about how 2 things you can't really put a price tag on, or obviously reputation, and of course time. So he knew that time was of the essence. They had to get the job done, and reputation was critical because of what the national media was saying about Illinois. So that's something I think to bear in mind too. Is I think they were very focused on just starting from zero, and the 1-0 mentality came out for sure. So overall, thoughts on the game, super happy to be there. I'm super happy to be wrong about a prediction. I was wrong. I said Illinois would lose 27-20. It didn't do that. It won the game. It's 4-1 now. It gets a Purdue team that's younger, has a new coach. It's on the road. Purdue usually plays Illinois really tough, has for several years now, and Illinois is looking for back-to-back wins in the Cannon game for the first time in a long time. It's been quite a number of years since that's happened. I don't remember the last time that Illinois won back-to-back, but I know it's been a while because they didn't win in 23, and then of course in 19 was the last time it won on the road in West Lafayette. So hopefully they can get a win in West Lafayette next week to begin the month of October. It's a big month for in October. Illinois has 2 road games in the month of October, and then of course the game looming large, which is looking like it's going to be a massive one if Illinois wins this Purdue game and Ohio State takes care of business against Minnesota. You could be looking at the number 1 team in the nation coming into Champaign in a matter of about 13 or so days. So huge stretch for Illinois there. Kind of want to get off the soapbox now. Was a fun time though. Glad to be there. First Big Ten home win of the year, and the first Big Ten win in the newly minted history, I guess, if you will, of the renamed Gibbs Memorial Stadium. So congrats to those who made it out. All right, let's move on to some UFC. UFC returned last night, and I didn't watch the prelims, but the main card was awesome. You had some really nice performances. Tom Nolan with a submission win over Charlie Campbell. That was a good fight. What else? What else was there on this card? We'll get to the main event in a second. I went 7-5 on this card overall. Had a bad start to the prelims, and then we racked off 5 wins in a row before getting stumped by Jake Matthews. And then Jack Jenkins and Jimmy Crute took care of business before the main event, which saw Carlos Albert knock out Dominic Reyes in devastating fashion early in the first round to maintain his status as a truly minted light heavyweight title challenger in the near future. Overall, good card. Let's see, how many finishes do we have on this card? I think we had a lot. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We had 6 finishes out of 12 fights. That's not bad. It's actually pretty good. But overall, though, a solid main card, a lot of exciting fights. Not a single boring fight on this card, which I was surprised about. Um, what was there? I was impressed overall. I thought overall the card was a good card. And I was surprised with how fast paced the main card was. Um it's usually not one of those it's usually not one of those cards, or it's usually not one of those things where a main card goes by quickly. That is, and that was a major surprise. So I was in tuned on that. But overall, though, thought it was a good card. Thought it was interesting, and I also thought it was one of those where I also thought it was one of those cards where if you missed it, I mean there was good reason to miss it. I mean it wasn't really highly promoted all that well. I mean it really wasn't. Let's be honest with that. It really wasn't. Um, so I don't know how to quantify that, but what I can tell you is the actual fights were good. They were good fights, and if you needed an MMA fix last night, I think this card did its due diligence. So overall, I thought it was a solid card. I finished the month of September above 500, which I was really happy about. So we finished, I think it would have been 22, 16, and 1 for the month of September, which isn't that bad. I think I have 224 wins now, which isn't bad either. What else is there from this that was fun? Yeah, I mean overall, I just thought it was a nice crowd. There were some big names in the audience. JDM was there. Tai Tuivasa was there. Again, it was at RAC Arena, so it was a hometown fight for those guys to attend. So shout out to them for doing so. Overall, I thought it was fun though. Thought it was a fun card, and I give it a solid, at least a B. Maybe I don't know, maybe an A minus. Who knows? But overall, though, a card that was good, but I don't think a lot of people are really talking about it, which is unfortunate because Carlos Albert is a beast, and it looks like he'll be going to Vegas um, next weekend for Ankalaev Pereira 2, and whoever wins that fight will more than likely be fighting Alberg or in some variation later on next year, I would think. So, congrats to Alberg on winning. Reyes is a stud. He had a winning streak snapped last night. But overall, though, I thought Alberg looked great, and it was a solid card. Let's take a look at the remainder of my NFL survivors. So far, we're 1-0 on the week. We covered with the Seahawks, and straight up, we won also. Pittsburgh in Minnesota are currently playing in Ireland at the moment. The Steelers lead 14-6 early in the third quarter. I have Pittsburgh in my pool this week. We're 35-14 overall for straight up predictions. I have the Commanders, the Bills, the Lions, which is my NFL survivor pick this week. So hopefully I can survive in advance to October if Detroit wins. I get the Patriots over the Panthers today, the Chargers over the Giants, the Eagles over the Buccaneers, Houston over Tennessee, the Colts over the Rams, the Jaguars in an upset over the 49ers, the Ravens over the Chiefs, even though it's in Kansas City. I feel like I'm going to regret that prediction. The Bears over the Raiders, the Packers over Dallas tonight, and of course in the Monday night doubleheader, I got Miami over the Jets and the Broncos over the Bengals. So there's that as well. And then a few more things to go over. I wanted to go over my college football record. Um, for that because I never got a chance to do so. And I feel bad I didn't. So let's go over how I did on those. I do my three sums every week. We were 2-7 going into this week. Let's see how we did. I never got a chance to tell you guys. Indiana money line over Iowa. That won. Penn State over Oregon. Penn State lost in double overtime. And Ohio State over Washington. I don't know the final score, but I think Ohio State did enough to cover. Let's double check because it was 24-6 in the third quarter. I didn't look at the score when the game ended. Yeah, they won 24-6, so they covered. So that's 2-1 for the week there, and we're 4-8 through a couple of weeks with this. 4-8 on college football. College football. What do you call it? College football. Threesome. Bandos blitz picks. I guess. I don't really have a name for it, but nonetheless, that's great as well. Let me take a look. Let's see how we did on ESPN for Pick'em. I didn't look. Let's take a look. Let's take a look. Under fantasy, here we go. Let's take a look at this. College football. Here we go. Here we go. All right, let's take a look at this. NFL, here's college. All right, how did we do yesterday? All right, yesterday we went 5-5 on the day. And I kind of messed up there. 20-20, and yeah, I forgot to do. I guess I forgot to do straight picks on ESPN, which is unfortunate. So they give you losses. I forgot about this. Every game you don't pick, you lose. So I'm 500. I'm 500 now instead of it being an updated record. So I guess the only picks we can go off of for that are against the spread. So completely forgot I never entered these, but apparently I didn't. Nonetheless, though, that's going to do it for Zain Zinger Part 2. Thanks again for joining me. Good luck on Survivors later today. Strap in for the end of the Steelers game if you guys can, and I will talk to you guys soon. Have a good one. Oh, one other thing that I forgot to mention. I never ended up giving a shout. Hang on, I just went right into it. I feel bad. Let's do this really quick and do our due diligence. Meant to do this at the beginning of the show, but we will do it at the end of the show to cover our bases and get out of the way. Okay, here we go. So Zanzinger Part 2 is presented or is powered by Novig, rather, America's #1 sports prediction market, available right now in 35 states, including California, Texas, Florida, Georgia, and New York. On Novig, you're 10 times more likely to win long term compared to a traditional sports book because you're playing against real users and not the house. Sign up today and use the promo code ETBNETWORK. That's ETB Network for exclusive bonuses. And of course, you have to be 21 years or older to play. All right, that's going to do it now officially for Zain Zinger Part 2. Have a great rest of your day, everyone, and I'll talk to you guys next week when we go over Bandage Breakdowns episode 62 and so much more. So stay tuned.